Well, hello there. Welcome to this week's episode of Olivia's Corner. This week we are talking about what I told you we would talk about after last week, which is I'm going to tell you about my 6 crazy ideas. And I'm just going to pitch them at you and then tell you why they don't work or do work and I ran with them. Or what my dreams would be if I were to run with them. So I guess maybe you tell me, are they working or not working the way that I have them? And do you have any suggestions? Because you just got admitted to my writer's room. Welcome. So some of you know that my dream long-term is to be a part of a writing team that does writer's rooms regularly. I don't know if that means being on a writing team for a TV show, because those do typically have a writer's team, not just one specific writer. Or they have a team for the whole series, and then there's individual writers for each episode because they have to be written really quickly. You're now part of my writer's room, so congratulations, welcome, you made it to this very amateur writer's room. I love it, I hope you love it. Anyway, let's get into some ideas. All right. So I was prompted to come up with 6 ideas for movies that I was going to pitch these ideas to my professor. This is my list, and I'll tell you why. Some of them don't work for me specifically, but you can take them. So, idea number 1. Are you ready? Here we go. A kid, born blind, sees monsters in the shadows. Pretty sure I stole that one off the internet. The reason that doesn't work for me is that I am terrible at writing horror stories, because they freak me out. That's idea number 1. A kid, born blind, sees monsters in the shadows. It's almost like his super ability or something. I don't know. Idea number 2. A team of old grandmothers from a book club go on one final adventure in life together to meet the author of an unfinished book. So I thought this idea was interesting. I would have to come up with something like, what makes it unfinished? What's the book about? What made these grandmothers decide that they were going to go on an adventure? I kind of see it being like a higher fantasy version of something like a cross between that movie The Bucket List and Eat, Pray, Love. And I think that my characters, the old lady grandmothers, would have to face some fears, which happens in both of those listed movies, and learn something. I feel like that's pretty basic needs for a movie, but anyway, that's my idea. What do you think? What could make it better? What book are they going to resolve? Where is this author? Who is this author? Are they dead? Are they still alive? Are they someone who never intended anyone to actually read their book? Who is it? Who is this person? Do they matter at all? Is it more about the journey? Anyway, these are the questions that we have to ask in this writer's room. So, strap in your seatbelts. Idea number 3. I think I only have 5 today. That's okay. This one I also stole and modified from an internet post that I thought was really interesting, because that's the beauty of it. That's part of the writer's room. We just feed off of each other's ideas. I wish I could meet that person and put them in my writer's room and be like, hey, you, that's a great idea. How can we make it work? Idea number 3. A young adult person who works in a grocery store is pulled through a portal in the produce aisle by some interdimensional travelers who swear that this person can save the world. So my teacher said that this one didn't feel very fleshed out, and that's why I should not have run with it when it was there. But that just means that it needs more work. So I love the idea that this person works and gets 40 hours right now and is barely paying rent, but they're making it in life. And they're okay with, making it just barely in life. And then these dimensional travelers show up and they're like, okay, but I need to make it back before my lunch break's over. Or the opposite happens, where the people are like, yeah, we get kind of paid with gold sometimes. We go on adventures all the time. It's deadly, but it's interesting. And the person's like, my life is hella boring and I don't want to be on a 9-to-5. I would love to be an adventurer. Is there healthcare? I saw a post that was much more towards D&D that was the person just saying, like, you guys have healthcare? And they're like, I mean, we got a cleric. And they're like, I'm in. Like, how much do they charge? Nothing. You're part of the team. I'm in. So the joys of being a young adult in this world. Idea number 4, let's move on. I think this is the alternate one that I would have done, and then I'll tell you the one that I actually ran with. This story follows the accidental and recently crowned goddess of the underworld and the journey that she goes on to adjust to her new title and job. Something that's like a fantasy drama with elements of comedy. It felt too much like a teen romance novel when I was writing the idea. There's nothing wrong with a teen romance novel, it's just not the kind of movie that I am passionate about making. I think it would be really interesting to write a story about a young woman who gets to command the undead and just kind of goes ballistic. Or doesn't do anything, just takes really good care of them and flips the script on everything that you expect out of this character. Isn't that the beauty of movies that are unpredictable? And finally, this is the idea that I did run with, so it's a little more fleshed out, and I've got some more ideas and some more, bumps in the road that I don't know how to bypass. But here you go, idea number 5. A young woman who is thriving and succeeding in her world of business has everything in the world that she could want except love. When she meets a cute coffee shop girl, she decides that she wants to work up the courage to ask this girl for her phone number. The day that she works it up and determines to do it, a zombie apocalypse begins. The story turns into an action-packed romantic comedy of, well, I don't really like romantic comedies, but if it's gay, it's a little bit better. Where in my class, I had decided that she, somehow gets from walking in the coffee shop door and seeing the news over the girls had the zombie apocalypse started to fighting the zombie apocalypse with the girl. Don't know how they get to that point, but that's an idea. And they have to fight zombies together. They could kind of get to see each other's true colors. That's a hugely stressful world to be living in, and maybe they get together in the end. Maybe it's enough time for them to go, this isn't gonna work, and just be survival friends. The struggle that we had in my class was largely that we didn't know if the focus of the movie was about the zombies or the romance. And I kind of wanted it to be both. So that's one that I might actually write at some point, but those are my ideas. What do you think? Anyway, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to my ramblings about ideas that are going to someday be movies, because that is what I'm in school to be doing. And thanks for being a part of my writer's room. Go ahead and drop your comments in the bottom if you have suggestions to make any of these ideas work, or things that would change them so that they seem more engaging for you. Yeah. This is the content you signed up for. Speaking of signing up, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you get notified when I notify you of new content. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you next week.